This is the Everyday AI Show, the everyday podcast where we simplify AI and bring its power to your fingertips. Listen daily for practical advice to boost your career, business, and everyday life.
I've been lucky enough to be able to talk to some of the smartest people in AI in the world, right? From the fast growing startups like OpenAI to leaders at big tech companies like Microsoft and NVIDIA and IBM, and also small business entrepreneurs, Fortune 500 leaders. I've brought them all live to you on this very show. Yes, this is a podcast, but it's also a live stream. But I thought I've been able to let you guys ask questions from hundreds of guests, but never really let you grill me. So that's what we're going to be doing today on a special edition of Everyday AI, kind of a hot take Tuesday, but you all get to grill me. All right, I'm excited for this one. What's going on, y'all? My name is Jordan Wilson, and welcome to Everyday AI. This is for you. It's a daily live stream, podcast, and free daily newsletter helping everyday people not just learn about AI, but how we can all actually leverage it to grow our companies and our careers. And it starts here, yes, on the live stream / podcast, but where you really make this go to work for you is on our website, youreverydayai.com. Go there, sign up for our free daily newsletter. So yeah, we bring you guests on every day, except today, right? Or most days, we have a guest on, and we actually write a recap from the most important insights from the guest, as well as in our newsletter, bringing you everything you need to stay up to date and to get ahead. So make sure if you haven't already done that, go do that. All right, so before we get in and let you all grill me with your questions, we're going to start as we normally do with the AI news. So first, Meta is reportedly turning to nuclear energy for its AI power needs. So Meta, according to reports, is exploring nuclear energy to power its energy-intensive AI projects, aiming to operationalize nuclear reactors by the early 2030s, according to sources familiar with the discussion. So this move aligns Meta with other tech giants like Google, Microsoft, and Amazon, who are also either considering or already making moves on nuclear power to support their AI initiatives. So despite its reliability and low carbon emissions, nuclear energy remains controversial due to safety concerns. All right, next piece of AI news, a huge one. Any other day that we didn't have a big announcement from OpenAI, this would have been our top story, but Google has developed a quantum computing chip named Willow, which can complete tasks in 5 minutes that would have taken the fastest classical computers 10 septillion years. I don't even know how many a septillion is. So the chip is comparable in size to an After 8 Mint, promises to revolutionize drug development by expediting the experimental phase, according to reports. This breakthrough is part of a series of advances since 2021 in quantum, suggesting that quantum computing could transform research and development of new materials within 5 years. Willow is noted for being less prone to errors than its predecessors and could significantly enhance artificial intelligence capabilities. So quantum computing leverages the principles that matter can exist in multiple states simultaneously, enabling vastly larger calculations than classical computers. And obviously, this is pretty big for AI developments, right? Well, it's big for everything, for life, for technology, for scientific discovery, for everything, right? But think of what life was like before computers and the internet and AI and how much that's changed. Take that times like 20 in terms of what quantum computing could actually do for our everyday lives. All right. And then last but not least, the big piece of AI news for the day, OpenAI has officially launched Sora, its new AI video generation tool that allows users to create videos and images in various styles from realistic to abstract. So this marks a significant expansion into the AI video space for OpenAI, and this comes about after 10 months. Yeah, we first heard Sora 10 months ago when OpenAI previewed it. So we really had to wait for a long time, and we finally got it. So this is part of OpenAI's kind of 12 days of OpenAI for the holidays, running daily announcements until December 20th. So Sora is available to users through different subscription tiers. So only with ChatGPT Plus, the $20 a month plan, and ChatGPT Pro, the $200 a month plan. So if you are on a free plan, you're not going to be able to access this. So you can go to Sora.com, and there is a credit system. And I'll tell you this, the ChatGPT Plus plan, the $20 a month plan that so many of us are on, you're not going to get a lot out of Sora. So if you really want to push it or really use it all, aside from some basic experimentation, you're not going to get that. So on the ChatGPT Plus plan, there's always watermarks. You can't use humans. You have to be on the $200 a month plan. So, my initial testing, I did a video on it. So make sure you check out the newsletter today. We'll be linking that. It's impressive. The outputs are good. Love the user interface. But yeah, in terms of limits right now, super limited unless you are on that $200 a month plan. And even on that, if you are an avid user, a hardcore creative, this is not going to, I don't think, give you what you actually need in terms of limit compared to other programs like Runway or Luma. All right, let's get into today's show. And well, a little bit of a bummer. So I promise y'all, I wasn't trying to dodge any questions like Allison on LinkedIn was saying. So we actually attempted the live stream this morning, and sure enough, our live streaming platform wouldn't let me go live, right? So that's just how technology works. I don't think I've ever done this in 400 plus episodes where I'm like, all right, we're going to, you guys can grill me live, ask your questions. And sure enough, after 20 minutes, I realized the live stream wasn't working. Well, people told me after 3 to 4 minutes, and I tried to troubleshoot. So, you know what? If you know of any other easy live stream platforms, it looks like we've been using StreamYard, so I'm going to have to jump and use something else. So, we always, if you're listening on the podcast, which on this one, well, you definitely are since the live stream's broken, let me know what your favorite live streaming platform is. We're going to have to make a switch. All right, but don't worry, I'm still going to let you all grill me because I did copy and paste over all the questions, and I promise you this, some of them were long questions. I didn't even look. All right. Some of them that were short questions, obviously when I'm copying and pasting them, I can see, but I wanted y'all to actually be able to grill me. So I didn't, some of you I can see left long questions. I didn't read those. I copy and pasted them, put your name in there. So let's get to it. We're going to go rapid fire through all of these questions. It's Hot Take Tuesday. So I'm going to try to give you my honest, just bold take. Without further ado, let's get into the questions. And most of these are from LinkedIn. I'm sorry, we had multiple streams on YouTube. And the first stream, I couldn't pull the questions off. So if you were listening on YouTube, I'm sorry about that. Might have missed some of the questions. All right, so Allison and Mark just kind of joking around saying, are you just trying to dodge our questions? No. Mark, loved this. This made me choke. Does Jordan have laryngitis? Yeah, because I was talking for like 3 to 4 minutes before anyone could notice, or before I noticed that the audio wasn't working. Woozy said, hey, first question, how do we hear you today? Well, that's on the podcast, I guess. Fred joking around. How about using your Jordan avatar? Yeah, I could have. All right. Now let's get into the real questions here. I had to shout those out because some of those made me chuckle. All right, so Michael asking, do you use AI to manage your emails, like auto-respond, calendar? If so, how? Good question, Michael. So the short answer, and I don't know if anyone else asked about this, but when it comes to just what AI I use, I'm currently in the transition from going from Mac products to Windows. I literally in front of my face have a brand new, what is this? This is a Microsoft Copilot Plus Surface PC 7 or something like that. I've tried inside of Google Gemini to use it to help with emails. I've tried a handful of other programs. Some work well, some not so much. So if I'm being honest, I don't get a ton of email. I unsubscribe to everything. I suck at email, right? some of our partners that reach out to me all the time know this. So for longer email threads where I find it hard to keep up, Gemini is okay at that, but that's one of the reasons why I'm switching over. So I've been using the Copilot subscription on my Mac, but not all features are available. Like in Outlook, as an example, there is no Copilot if you're using it on Mac, whereas in Microsoft Word and Excel, there is Copilot. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the Gemini email kind of offering leaves a lot to be desired. It kind of stinks, and I've reviewed this on the channel. So right now, I'm using AI a little bit to manage my emails, but not a lot because number one, not a lot of people email me. And number two, when they do, it's generally a little shorter. But when there's long email threads, big projects, I do copy and paste it and kind of strip out any, PII or anything like that. And then I will chat usually with Notebook LM or with Claude. Just does a little bit better with long context windows. Are you still running in circles trying to figure out how to actually grow your business with AI? Maybe your company has been tinkering with large language models for a year or more, but can't really get traction to find ROI on Gen AI. Hey, this is Jordan Wilson, host of this very podcast. Companies like Adobe, Microsoft, and NVIDIA have partnered with us because they trust our expertise in educating the masses around generative AI to get ahead. And some of the most innovative companies in the country hire us to help with their AI strategy and to train hundreds of their employees on how to use Gen AI. So whether you're looking for ChatGPT training for thousands or just need help building your front-end AI strategy, you can partner with us too, just like some of the biggest companies in the world do. Go to youreverydayai.com/partner to get in contact with our team, or you can just click on the partner section of our website. We'll help you stop running in those AI circles and help get your team ahead and build a straight path to ROI on Gen AI. All right, couple more questions from Mike, from Michael Peggins, who joined us on YouTube and LinkedIn. So thanks, Michael. And I know you sent me some recommendations on live streaming, so I'll check that out. So Michael saying, do you actively use any AI agents at the moment? I test some out. There's new ones every day, right? Am I using anything consistently? No, not right now. Again, with my workflow right now, it's pretty simple. So I have Everyday AI, right? That's one of my companies. We do this podcast, this live stream. We have sponsors, right? We have advertisers like Adobe and Microsoft are our last two advertisers. So, aside from that, I do have another business, Accelerant Agency. We've been doing digital strategy for companies for, when did I start Accelerant? About 7 or 8 years ago. But I've talked about that. We've been winding this down. So I actually don't have, this might sound weird, aside from this podcast, which I'm not great at making money on, I don't have a lot of client work per se. So yeah, not using any AI agents at the moment, aside from testing them out. I do think that will change once I get this PC set up and using Copilot Studio, right? Microsoft 365 Copilot. Extremely excited. As most of you know, I was at the Ignite conference, was invited out there, and just being able to talk with the people actually building Copilot Studio, right? I had Ray Smith on, who's the VP of AI agents at Microsoft. I talked to probably at least 10 other people at Microsoft who are responsible for building agents, right, across their entire line of product offerings. And I'm extremely excited to kind of finally get this computer set up. All right. Michael also asking, how many people are on the Everyday AI team? Good question. Very small. We use a lot of AI, even though we don't use a lot of AI agents. We do kind of duct tape certain AI software together with Zapier to make everything super simple. But right now, there's really 2 of us full time, have another quarter time contractor and, other people helping out on an ongoing basis. But in terms of like who's actually staff, like 2.25 of us. All right, Ted. Ted asks, are you using the ChatGPT extension in Chrome as a replacement for search? What are the advantages? Ted, great question. Yes and no. So yesterday, I actually disabled it because at least for me, it's not where I want it to be yet. So for about half of my searches, I loved it, right? The other half, hated it. Here's why. So as an example, a lot of times I would just be putting in a simple, like, I don't know, a restaurant or a store, right? And I have that habit in my brain. Because I use Chrome and Edge. And when you do that, essentially you get like a local business and you get their address, their phone number, their map, right? So for those type of searches, I was going bonkers by using the ChatGPT extension. For the other half, great, right? So some of these more phrase searches and things like that. I know also I can just type in Google and hit tab with the ChatGPT extension. But if you're new and you don't know the ChatGPT extension, it is great for a lot of things, right? But essentially, when you use the address bar in Chrome or in Microsoft Edge, because it's based on Chromium and it works there as well, essentially, when you would go into your URL bar and type a search, instead, it automatically just launches that in ChatGPT. So, like I said, for certain searches, fantastic, right? But if it's something very simple, not so good always. So you just have to keep that in mind, but try it out. Try it out. It's definitely worth looking into if you haven't yet. All right. Next couple from Cecilia here. Cecilia is asking, which of the meeting apps in the Zoom Microsoft Teams vein is best at incorporating AI? So there's pros and cons to Zoom, and I've had multiple people from Zoom on the show. One thing that I don't like about Zoom's AI is I don't know if it actually records a full transcript, which is what I like most of the time. I haven't used Google's, if I'm being honest, right? Like, I'm not a huge fan of Google Gemini across the Google Workspace. For whatever reason, it doesn't work that well. So I've tried it in Google Meet, don't like it. And I haven't tried it in Microsoft Teams because, like I just said, still in the kind of transition phase. But for meetings, I like using either MeetGeek, which is something I've talked about on the show before, as well as Otter. So at least for me right now, probably until I fully integrate myself into Microsoft and Teams, which I'm excited for because Microsoft did just at Ignite announce some new kind of Teams agents. So a facilitator agent and also like a translation agent. Like you can literally speak another language in real time, which is nutty. All right. Thanks for that question, Cecilia. Also asking, what is your favorite model to use for voice transcription? Great question, Cecilia. So I do use a lot of other programs for this, right? And sometimes these different programs, you can choose the transcription model, right? So I use Otter. I use Otter AI to transcribe audio. Also Cast Magic. We use that on literally a daily basis for this podcast, but I also run some things locally. So as an example, Mac Whisper is a cool program that I use on my computer sometimes to transcribe audio locally there. It's super fast, super cheap. You just plug in your API key. But for the most part, I believe that OpenAI's Whisper model is probably the best and most accurate, although I did see some rumblings recently online. I'm trying to remember. Let's see if I can look it up here. I think it was Fireworks AI. I think it was one of the models that I looked at and I'm like, wait, that's pretty good in terms of like transcription time. But yeah, Cecilia, for the most part, I'm using Whisper from OpenAI. Great model. Easy to work with. All right. Samuel asking, I believe this one was on YouTube, says, do you have any custom GPTs that you use regularly? Absolutely, Samuel. So I do a lot of them for planning this podcast, right? So when guests submit to the show, so there's a couple there's a couple steps in our process, right? So, hey, if you're even listening to this, let me just throw this out there. If you are listening to this and you're like, wow, my CEO would be great for this show, or our, CMO, I'd love to get them on. You can go pitch, right? We hide this on our website, but you can literally just go to youreverydayai.com/pitch, right? Pitch your guests. We get a lot of guests that pitch to come on the show. We don't take a lot of them on, but we do take some of them on if there's a good story. So make sure you fill that form. Anyways, once we get a guest, once we accept a guest on the show, because we don't want people just coming on and selling you guys, right? We want to get good guests who can really bring value. But anyways, once they do, there's a little form that they fill out. And then essentially I take the results of that form, and sometimes it's a lot. It's a lot of information. And I plug all of that into a custom GPT that I've built that helps me. I have a couple different ones. And yes, I could use one GPT that does all of these things, but I'll tell you all, as I tell everyone else, I think GPTs work best when you give them a very narrow scope. Don't try to have them do everything. So I have a series of I believe 3 different GPTs that I sometimes use for podcast planning. The one that I probably think is the best, or the one that I use the most, well, it's helping me just come up with titles, right? I know that sounds dumb, but a podcast title means a lot. Right. So usually we have the guests submit 1 or 2. I'll have an idea for 1 or 2, and then I essentially copy and paste all this information. And a lot of times, right, and I have ChatGPT go do some research, right, based on the information. So it's not just like, here's a bunch of text, go give me podcast titles. It's like, no, I have custom instructions in there that, instruct it to browse with Bing, find trending topics in that field, because sometimes I might not know. Right? Like, had a pretty great guest a couple of weeks ago on quantum computing. I don't know quantum computing. It went out there. This GPT, the custom GPT, found some trends, and it gave me some good suggestions, right? Still human in the loop, right? I control what information I put in there on that GPT. It kicks things out. I look at them. I'm like, yep, this is good, right? But I give it good instructions, right? I say it needs to be a click-worthy title. It needs to have one of the main keywords in the front end of the title, right? Because when you're scrolling through on Spotify, you don't always get the whole title. So simple things like that, as well as doing additional research on topics that I don't know. So I have another one that helps me research. Again, this is just the first steps of research. I'm still the human, right? I still go through and read all this. So those are just 2 GPTs that I use pretty frequently. We also use projects. I use gems sometimes in Google's version. I don't think they're that great, but that was like 3 months ago when they first came out. I'll probably give them another run, as well as we use a lot of other tools. Desktop tools like Bolt. What else do we use? Poe. I like using ChatHub. So, some of these where you can build essentially the equivalent of a custom GPT in these other platforms. So yeah, I use the concept of these custom GPTs very often. Cecilia, what are the chances that the AI community will stop using acronyms and speak clearly so they can be understood by everyone? Yeah, asking about just accessibility. So I'll say probably not a lot, right? Like, as an example, if every time I wanted to say reinforcement learning from human feedback, that's tough. That's a mouthful, right? So a lot of times I just spit out RLHF, right? Or RAG, right? If I'm talking about RAG, like, I always try to first reference, right? Maybe from my old journalism days, I always like to say retrieval augmented generation at least once, but then I'm like, RAG, right? In your RAG pipeline, right? So I don't know. I think for the most part, and sometimes people don't even know the acronym. So maybe even Cecilia, maybe I should do a better job at making sure I do this. All right, Guillermo, former guest from way back in the day. Quite a few questions here. So I'm going to try to answer them quickly one by one. So he says, as AI advances and generates everything flawlessly, perfect deepfakes, digital clones, optimized content, do you think we'll see a growing market for authentically human experiences? Abso-friggin-lutely, man. That's why I do this, right? I saw this 3 years ago before I even decided to start a show, right? Because even at that time, I'm like, I know pretty soon a deepfake Jordan is going to be just as good, if not better. But I can interact with you all live in real time. I stutter sometimes, right? I say the wrong words. I do think that there will be something in the future where kind of like, it's like, if think of like going to a farmer market, right? And you're like, oh, this is local. This is handmade, right? This is handcrafted. I do think that AI generated content is going to be so commonplace in a year or two, you're literally going to see people, marketing themselves or their products as not using AI, right? That's why I love doing this thing live. And yes, I could just use an AI avatar, or I could clone my voice on 11 Labs and it's really good. And I could just not do this podcast, right? I could just have AI do it. I do think one thing that AI will not replace is human connection, even though you all can't tell right now. In theory, right? In theory, this could be my 11 Labs clone. It's not. It's actually me. That's why I take questions from the live audience, and obviously, this is the day where things don't work. G also asking where AI can create anything. Could the real thing, quote unquote, become a luxury? Yes, exactly what I'm talking about. I do think in the future there will be a premium on human-made content. This is multiple part questions here from G. So also saying, will we, the pre-AI generations, start craving unfiltered, raw human moments like live concerts? Yes. Oh, absolutely. Saying like AI free weekends. Yes. If I'm being honest, I think it's going to get overwhelming. I think AI's infiltration, and yeah, you might be like saying like, oh, okay, Jordan, AI infiltration, you're the one pushing this. Yeah, I am. But I'm also trying to help you all understand it and help us all understand it, because I think it's actually going to be much more consequential than we actually think. I don't think AI and generative AI and large language models are going to be this thing that continue to just live on the internet and we have to go seek it out. No. AI content, AI entertainment, AI interactions are going to find you whether you want them or not, right? And you're not going to have a choice. I was thinking the other day, I'm like, there's going to be times, I think probably in 2025, where you're going to be interfacing with a company and the only option you will have is AI until there's a law, right? You might go on their website. It's a chatbot. It's AI. You fill out a contact form or an email, an AI responds. You call them. It's an AI voice agent. I literally think that there's going to be some companies in the near future where you will not be able to interact with a human, which I think is terrible, right? Like, I want y'all to know this about me. Just because I talk about AI and I enjoy it and all these things, I don't think that it needs to replace all of us humans, right? I think in some situations, talking to an AI will be much better than talking to a representative and waiting on hold for 45 minutes and talking to someone in a call center and you can't hear them because it's their keyboard's loud and their 5 coworkers. Like, I have bad hearing. I can't hear that, right? I'd much rather, in some instances, talk to a human, but I do think that there will be almost a luxury market for that. And then Guillermo also asking, is there a future market for products and experiences explicitly branded as free of AI? Absolutely. I've already seen that a little bit out. I think with some creatives, some photographers, they just say, not using AI. But yeah, I do think people are going to lean into it heavily. All right, Philip's got 5 questions, so I got to go quick here. All right, Philip, what's your take on the ChatGPT Pro plan? Well, $200 a month. It's pricey, but I've been saying all along, literally, I said this a year or two ago. I said, I wouldn't be surprised. Before there was all these official reportings from the information, I said, I wouldn't be surprised if someday there's a multiple $100 or multiple $1,000 tier of OpenAI, right? As they get toward agentic AI, you can't have that for $20 a month, right? You literally can't. So what do I think of the Pro plan right now? Well, I think that we're going to see a lot more value to it in the coming days, right? So we're only 3 days now into OpenAI's 12 announcements. So we're going to see 9 more announcements from OpenAI, and I'm guessing at least half of them will have features that are only available or mostly available on that $200 a month tier plan. So it's too early to tell right now, right? So right now, the only differentiators are the O1 Pro model having full no limits on the GPT-4o and then better limits on Sora. So right now, I think $200 is a little steep, but I'm pretty sure we're going to see some things over the next 9 days of announcements that will even more justify that $200 a month price tag. So second question, what are the top 5 trends expected to shape the world of AI in 2025? Oh gosh, I don't know if I can think of 5 on the fly. Like I told you guys, I didn't research these questions beforehand. I wanted to give you my honest and reaction. I don't know if I can label off 5, Philip. I do know we're going to be doing another show on 25 predictions for 2025. So I want to give this some thought. I know right away, AI, customized AI entertainment. It's going to be everywhere, right? I think we're going to get in 2025 custom AI TV shows, shorts, websites, games, right? Literally being able to generate live personalized games in real time. So I will say agentic AI, I'll say voice AI, I'll say real world or real time entertainment. Saw some things NVIDIA was working on that they haven't released yet. It's going to be pretty wild, but we'll do a full show on that soon. Philip also asking, which 3 large language models are expected to stand out the most in the coming year? Great question. I mean, obviously ChatGPT, right? They're so far ahead. People are always like, especially like, hardcore AI people like online, on Twitter, on Reddit, everyone's like, oh, Claude, Sonnet, right? I think it's like one of those things right now. It's like you feel trendy by saying, oh, Sonnet. Sonnet 3.5 new, Sonnet 3.6. It's better, right? It's better at a few things. The only thing that I use Claude for right now, if I'm being honest, is artifacts, right? So that's the kind of the split screen or dual pane ability right now for Claude to render something in real time. But between ChatGPT's Canvas mode, which does that for writing, and I do think that we're going to see over the next 9 days, ChatGPT release their version, could even be today. I do think that they will release their version of artifacts. So number 1, ChatGPT. Number 2, I mean, it has to be Copilot, even though that's technically not a large language model. It has to be Copilot. And then I'll say, you know what? I'm going to say one of the Chinese models. All right. Maybe Quen. Very impressive. I think they just got internet access today. I think China is going to become a leader in the LLM game in 2025. They lagged behind from 2022 until the second quarter of 2024, and now they're a dominant force. So that'll be my answer. Philip also asking, when will we achieve AGI and what are the key principles guiding its development? Good question. So I'll say this, depending on the definition, we're technically already there. All right. A staff member on Twitter from an OpenAI employee on Twitter said he thinks they already have achieved it, right? If you look at the definitions of artificial general intelligence, and if you're new here, that's essentially when a single AI system is essentially smarter than the smartest humans at almost all tasks. If you look at the definition from 15 years ago, we've 100% achieved AGI, but the definitions are always changing, right? Literally. Go on to archive.org, right? The Internet Archives. Go look at definitions. I did this for a show, so you can go listen to that show. Go look at definitions of AGI from 2008, 2012, 2015. We've achieved it, right? According to those ones, but according to the AGI definition of 2024, everyone has a different definition, right? I think, fortunately, unfortunately, OpenAI is the one that decides it because of their partnership with Microsoft and their AGI clause, which we've been covering, right? So, I mean, a lot of people see it, right? And especially with these agentic reasoners and these new models like O1, the QWQ model from Quen, these reasoning models. When you combine a reasoning model with agentic, right? Agentic capabilities, I'm like, yo, I don't know. Is this AGI? Probably, maybe not. I don't know. So it's more of who is defining what AGI means now. All right, Fred asking, with so many changes happening, it's sometimes difficult to know which model you think is best. What are your 5 favorite models today, front end, and for what purposes? So yeah, like if I'm being honest, I really only use frontier models, right? So ChatGPT or the GPT-4o models, Meta 3.2, been testing 3.3 a little bit, Anthropic Sonnet 3.5. I don't really use anything else from Anthropic, from the Claude models aside from the new 3.5 Sonnet, or 3.5 Sonnet V2, 3.6 Sonnet, whatever you want to call it. And then for the most part, I test other models. The Quen models, so I'll go into Hugging Face, test out models, but for the most part, at least if we're talking about kind of like quote unquote text-based models, I'm not using a lot of them, right? I do have to try out Nova a little bit more from Amazon, but Fred, for the most part, it's like, in Gemini, I like to use Gemini in the AI studio because on the front end of Gemini, it's using an old model. So yeah, I stick to the basics. I know that makes me like pretty basic and boring, but that's the reality. And then, so for what purposes? So I love using Notebook LM, which is powered by Gemini, for just factual information, right? As a grounded model. I like using Claude, kind of like I mentioned, for its artifacts feature, being able to render things in real time. I like using ChatGPT for just about everything else. I like using Copilot on the web, even though I know Copilot is not its own model. It uses, GPT-4o. Tara, have you tried Sora on the $200 plan? I was curious to see what the difference in speed for processing Sora on the $200. So I have not yet. I'm still on the $20 plan. Life's been a little busy over the last couple of days. Got actually doing some slight home renovations, in case over the last couple of days you've been hearing banging in the background, because I normally record this show at home. So I haven't actually had time. Hopefully I will this week to fully try out the $200 plan. And I know they have been kind of restricting signups, as an example, for Sora. So I know I got to get that going sooner rather than later. But like I said, Tara did do the $20, the normal ChatGPT Plus Sora. I do know you get more credits. I think you do get some priority access, when things get busy. But I haven't done the $200 plan yet. Tara asking, what are your thoughts about the AI comments and DMs people are receiving on LinkedIn? I have mixed feelings, right? Part of it, right? LinkedIn is encouraging you to use AI, right? It has that right post with AI. I'm sure that they're going to, at some point, roll out that same thing for comments. I wouldn't be surprised, but yeah, there's dozens of Chrome extensions and services that, just write AI comments. And some of them do it automatically without you even browsing or without you even approve it. You just connect your LinkedIn, which is against LinkedIn's terms of services, and it just automatically comments things with AI. So not a huge fan of it, if I'm being honest. I don't think there's any way to necessarily stop it. All right. And I think we got to all the questions. It's our last question. Yeah, we had about 20 questions. I went through them all. Looks like last question here. And again, y'all, I'm sorry the live stream got this kicked off, because I'm sure we would have got some more questions in from you. So maybe we'll do it next year, right? I feel I'm going to curse myself if I say, oh, we'll do it again next week, and it's going to not work again. All right. But Ben, last question. Love this one. So saying, as someone who's seen way more behind the scenes than most of us, what's the one thing keeping the experts up at night? Great question, Ben. I have to ponder about that, right? Because obviously, I talk to a lot of people. Some of them are, quote unquote, on the record, right here on the show. A lot of our guests I talked to before and after the show, things that maybe they didn't want to say in their official position. When I go to conferences, as an example, I talk to people all the time. A lot of people. I'll say this. The unknown. I think that's what is keeping the experts up at night. Because even the experts don't necessarily know, right? They don't. It depends on what area of AI, right? Artificial intelligence has been around for many decades. I get it. But if we're talking about the new way of generative AI and large language models and their development, transformer models, reasoning models, right? Even the experts, even the ones building them, if you listen to, go read their long essays, their research papers, they go on podcasts, right? Even the experts, there's an element of this technology that they don't understand. So I'll say that is the thing keeping most experts, aside from implementation and measuring ROI, right? Like the boring answers, but otherwise I'll say it's the unknown. No one knows, not even the people building the technology. No one truly knows what's next, right? They know what they're working on next. They know what the, consumers are demanding, but no one necessarily knows what's actually happening next, right? This is, I think one of the first times, at least in my, I'm going to be nice to myself and say 30 plus years of life. I can't say that too much longer. I think most technology, right? It's the humans telling the machines what's possible. Now it's humans challenging machines to create a new possible, which is scary. It's thought-provoking, right? It makes us all rethink intelligence. It makes us wonder what's next, right? But I've talked to literally dozens of people, some on the show, some not, that have said that exact same thing. the thing that keeps them up at night is, hey, machines and AI are creating our future. And we have to live in it. We have to make the most out of it. All right. Nothing like ending on a super deep question like that from Ben. So, all right, y'all. Thank you. Thank you, especially to all of our live stream people that, stuck around for 20 minutes as I was trying to get our tech figured out this morning. So hopefully we get it figured out here soon. And hey, for the podcast people, thank you for listening to this as well. I know it's a little different one. I wanted to give, I'm always so very appreciative of the people who attend live, whether it's on LinkedIn or YouTube or, some people join on Twitter, right? So if you are an avid podcast listener, we have great guests all the time. And you can actually, I know it's 7:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. So, it's 8:30 if you're on the East Coast. It's 5:30 if you're in California. It might not be the best time for you, but you can always ask even after the fact. We always put the link to the LinkedIn post, well, except for today, in our podcast description as well. So that's one thing, getting back to Guillermo's question about kind of authenticity and humans' role in AI. I want everyday AI to be that place where us humans that are just trying to figure it out, right? No one here is trying to, say that they're the leading expert in anything. This is the place that you go to learn about AI and how we can all work together and leverage it. So if you are an avid podcast listener, please consider joining us on the live stream sometime. Stop by, say hi, ask a question. So thank you all for sticking around for this interesting episode. If you haven't already, please go to youreverydayai.com. Sign up for the free daily newsletter. We will be recapping. I guess we'll even do a short recap on today's episode. But we recap it every other day, as well as in our newsletter, we tell you the latest news, fresh finds from all across the internet, upcoming shows, everything you need to know to be the smartest person in AI at your company. Thanks for tuning in. Hope to see you tomorrow and every day for more Everyday AI. Thanks, y'all.
And that's a wrap for today's edition of Everyday AI. Thanks for joining us. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave us a rating. It helps keep us going. For a little more AI magic, visit youreverydayai.com and sign up to our daily newsletter so you don't get left behind. Go break some barriers, and we'll see you next time.